it's
Alinsky, Petro, whatever, Alinsky. He gave me my soapbox. I love this soapbox. I love this discussion. Okay, if I may, yes, you may. By the way, Alinsky, Alexandra, whatever it is. Okay, I can't pronounce your name without butchering it, but I acknowledge you. AMD FreeSync is an open standard, yet Nvidia only recently was able to take advantage of the tech, even then through a hack. What gives? Okay, I don't understand the consumer market sometimes, all right? AMD FreeSync is based off the Adaptive Sync open standard. This standard was developed by Visa, which is the standardization for pretty much everything to do with video. Nvidia is a major partner of Visa. So Nvidia was involved in the actual creation of the open standard. In fact, their gsync technically uses the same technology. They just use it with a hardware interface. Mm-hmm. Okay? Nvidia could tomorrow, and I'm not joking about this, the amount of code, and I think Wendell actually hacked it once to show it. The amount of code to do this is tiny. They could tomorrow turn on FreeSync support on every video card they have at no cost to them. Just bang, instantly every video card they had would properly support FreeSync. And they could tomorrow put out a firmware update for every G-Sync monitor to allow it to use FreeSync driver support. It's just amazing to me. Why would you want to buy from a company that says, yeah, we could give you more options, but no?
I think that to me it signals a company that's not confident in their solution. So it's like, G-Sync is this much better than FreeSync, but don't take our word for it. If you want to use a FreeSync monitor, what do we care?
It just, to me, it makes no sense. You got to go back. You got to be a bit of a historian in the computer world to understand this. So 3D gaming owes itself to a company called 3DFX, which was an amazing company in its day. 3DFX got pretty much drove out of business for two reasons. One, they made a really bad business decision when they bought the fabs. They weren't ready for that. They financially weren't in a position to do that. That was a dumb move. But the other reason that they took a lot of trouble was they focused on Glide, which is a proprietary API. Mm-hmm. DirectX didn't exist at first, and this was the only way to really get. There was a little bit of other 3D stuff. You could do stuff like with Matrox and ATI, but Glide was it. Glide was gaming for 3D. It was incredible. Instead of opening up Glide and making it available so other companies could begin to come in, which would have really, I think, kept them going well, they kept it really closed. Yeah. And eventually that was part of the downfall of 3DFX. We look fast forward to today. I'm going to name some closed technologies, but I'm not trying to pick on the company. I'm trying to make a point. So a company introduced 3D glasses, 3D monitors, closed system, and it died almost instantly. Just did not go over well because there was too much limitation on the control of it. Look at PhysX. PhysX is actually a great physics implementation. Mm-hmm. It really is. It's a wonderful physics implementation, but it has lost to Havoc. Yeah. Because Havoc is open. Havoc works with everything. G-Sync comes out. G-Sync's going to be amazing. G-Sync, and it is. G-Sync is a great product. I don't have a problem with G-Sync. But for $200 to $300 less money, I can get the same thing.
Yeah.
Why do you pay the extra? So they need to get out of that. They need to get out of that closed mentality. I think they really do a disservice to their customers. And yes, by the way, Matrox Mystique was amazing.
Yeah, hardware acceleration. I saved up a bunch of money to buy my it's like a G200, so that I could get true hardware acceleration graphics, and I was so happy with that graphics card. And it didn't game worth a crap, but I could work on it, and it was like, yeah, a billion windows, ton of monitors, this is great. But the thing with, there are aspects of gsync that are different than FreeSync. Like Nvidia is not like the $2,000 Asus monitor. It literally does have a $400 FPGA in it. I'm sure Asus is not paying $400 for it, but if I were to go and buy the FPGA at like Mauser Electronics in 1,000 unit quantities, I'm going to be paying $400 for it. And it's got, I mean, it's doing some stuff, and that's fine. But I think it again is not having confidence in your solution. I think that if G-Sync were that much better, it's different, obviously, but if it were that much better, I think that NVIDIA wouldn't be so hostile to supporting FreeSync. And, you know, in the beginning, you mentioned physics or PhysX. I mean, it's kind of funny, but in the beginning, you could run PhysX on a separate graphics card, and you could have a mixed system with AMD and NVIDIA graphics. And they kneecapped that severely in the driver after a lot of people started doing that. And again, I think that's just not having confidence in your solution, in your system. I think that you have to, it's not just being open, it's being confident in the solution that you have. And it's like, oh, we think there's a competitive advantage here to shorting our customers something and hoping that they don't notice. And I would hope that that behavior is not something they do, not because of, you know, whatever business interests they have, but it is actually in their best interests to not treat customers like that, because eventually customers will get fed up, and that will be the end of it. But they don't really gain anything by behaving that way, I think.
Well, just so people understand, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, you're saying this because you work for an AMD-based company. I will not say that that isn't a small part of the reason I have the position I have. But the other reason for the position is I'm a gamer. So what I don't like about the current technology, and NVIDIA is the worst at this approach, is as a gamer, I sometimes have to look at games I want to buy and make my hardware decision not on its ability to play the game, but if it's compatible to the game. Mm-hmm. Does the feature set properly support it? We got rid of this shit in the DOS days, guys. It used to be when you go to buy a printer, do you know that you had to buy a word processor that was specifically designed for your printer? Not all word processors supported all printers.
Yeah, the fonts thing.
Yeah, you had the whole fonts thing. You had was the drivers built into the printer or to the word processor or not? Did you have to get them? There wasn't a universal driver set to print back then. So that crap is gone. As a gamer, what I should be able to do is this. I want to play a video game. It doesn't matter what my hardware is. I want to play a video game. And when it comes to choosing hardware, I should choose hardware based on providing the best performance and quality to value, and not have to worry about, does this do everything in the game that I want it to do, or is there a proprietary limitation that makes me go buy something else?
Yeah.
I don't like that approach.
Or is the performance artificially limited because, you know, this reason, that reason, or the other reason?
Right.
So I think it's really interesting. We're also seeing consoles starting to support FreeSync.
Yep.
Getting some you know, and TVs supporting FreeSync. I've been meaning to see if I can get a deal on the Samsung TV that supports FreeSync to give that a try. The Linux kernel 4.20 just finally got good FreeSync support again, so I'm looking forward to being able to do stuff with that on Linux. You had to, prior to 4.20, you had to do unholy things to patch in support, and it was still a little sketchy. But I think that the FreeSync support on Linux will also help drive a good desktop experience, because the compositing pipeline on Linux is a little different. And so like using GNOME on Linux, it takes one extra frame, so at 60 hertz, that's an extra 16 milliseconds delay, just to have one extra step in the compositing pipeline for like window transparency and window motion and things like that. And that's actually a problem for gamers, because it's not quite as low a level as Windows.